Picture this. I'm 23 years old, driving down the expressway in a foreign country, far from home, Buenos Aires, Argentina, the 14th biggest city in the world. I'm on my way to my first day at a job at an international school. The fog is thick and heavy, and my car starts to sputter. I see a narrow shoulder on the road, and I barely make it over there before my car completely breaks down. I don't know where I am. I don't speak much Spanish. I'm stuck. Where am I? Mr. Toastmaster, DTM Nick Smith, my fellow Toasties, and most welcome guests. My name is Diane Amoroso, formerly Diane Slusher, which was a maiden name that I was glad to shed because of taunts such as Diane Slusher, flush her down the toilet, or what flavor slushy? I am a professional teacher, an adventurer at heart, and a master at expanding my comfort zone. Some people say to step out of your comfort zone, but I view the comfort zone as something more pliable, something that can be stretched. Think of it as comfortable, redefined. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 tips I've learned about expanding your comfort zone. The first tip is to get comfortable in new situations. Get comfortable in new situations. When I was 23 years old in Argentina, get comfortable in new situations. Growing up, I moved a lot. My family moved a lot. When people ask me where I'm from, I don't have a solid answer. I have mentioned that I spent time in Argentina. I also lived in multiple cities in Texas, Michigan, Illinois, and of course, Florida. Of course, Florida. Here we are in Florida. Moving from school to school as a teenager, it was not easy to start a new school. Each time it was time to go to the first day of school, I developed a practice of optimistic self-talk. I would tell myself, be friendly, you'll make friends, smile. And it worked, even though at the end of each new day at a new school, I would cry on the way home because it was hard being the new person. And it was exhausting putting on a brave front all day. But I pushed through and I did make new friends. And now I teach those same characteristics to my 3 daughters, Sophia, Julia, and Caroline, 11, 9, and 5. And we homeschool, and so I have many opportunities to be in new situations with them. We regularly meet all sorts of new people and go to all sorts of new places. And so I try to instill in them a sense of courage, innovation, and a winsome attitude. Tip number 2, get comfortable being uncomfortable. We've probably heard that saying before, and it's a bit of an oxymoron. When I was in my early 20s in Argentina, I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought that my basic Spanish was going to carry me through. But I quickly found out that even colloquial phrases such as, hey, how are you? Or what time is it? Or cash or credit, I didn't understand what they were saying. At the international school I worked at, I taught in English, but the rest of my life was in Spanish if I chose to. You see, there were a lot of other teachers there from the United States, and they chose to hang out together and speak English and prepare foods that they were familiar with. I, on the other hand, chose to go to the market and learn the metric system in Spanish. I chose to attend a church there where I would hang out with the people my age afterwards. And even though I only understood about 2% of what they were saying, I did it. And you may have heard that about 80% of communication is nonverbal. Well, did you know that even the nonverbal in other countries is different? In Argentina, this means I don't know. This, 2 clicks of the tongue, means no. This, you might guess, means what are you talking about? And this means you're in trouble. I see you nodding your head. So I ended up making a couple of really good friends there. They were sisters, and I moved in with them. And we couldn't really understand each other much, but we got creative. We used gestures and drew pictures. We went to the clubs, and I learned the music and the dances. They taught me how to make the typical foods like empanadas and milanesa. And we made it work, and after about 5 to 6 months, I was fluent in at least conversational Spanish. I did make the occasional blunder, such as calling my pastor a derogatory name, or talking about condoms and food. It turns out that preservativos does not equal preservatives. It's not a cognate. But I sat in the discomfort until it became more comfortable. Tip number 3, get comfortable trusting yourself. I think we could all agree that trust is something that is built. Just like building trust in a friendship or in a romance, you build trust in yourself by placing confidence in yourself to do something and following through to do it. Three years after I got to Argentina, I moved back to the United States, to sunny South Florida, and I actually taught for many years right over there at that school, Sawgrass Elementary. When my oldest daughter was born, I realized that I didn't have the passion that I had to be teaching in the classroom anymore. I would sob every day as I dropped her off at the daycare, and I realized that I wanted to be the one raising her day in and day out. Did I have the courage, and could I trust myself to start a whole new path? Yes, I could. It wasn't easy. For a couple years, we ate rice and beans, and I didn't buy a single new thing. But I started some businesses and failed forward, and here I am today, working from home, homeschooling my kids, and now I'm building a business, a coaching business, to help other women follow their priorities and honor their priorities with courage and sincerity. We all have comfort zones. When we step into a new situation, we stretch it. When we sit in the discomfort until it's comfortable, we stretch it. And when we trust ourselves, we stretch it. So whatever happened to that 23-year-old girl who was stuck on the side of the road in a foreign country? Well, I ended up calling one of the 2 people I knew in Argentina. I did make it to the school that day where I met the man who 4 years later would become my husband. And it just goes to show that you never know what's on the other side of adventure and stretching your comfort zone. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.